Now, for the professional wrestling segment of this show, if you are not a fan of professional wrestling and you do not want to hear about professional wrestling, there's a timestamp down below. You don't have to hear about it. This is just for my professional wrestling fans. If you're here just to listen, then listen. That's fine. But I want to get into everything Elimination Chamber. This is just... I'm disappointed. I got back into wrestling a few weeks ago. I used to be a fanatic when I was little. And it's just like... This is one of the most lackluster of even both. Because Friday Night Smackdown, we saw the second Elimination Chamber get revealed. I'd say the best one was when there was the tag team one, the Intercontinental one, and the championship ones, obviously. But that was a few years ago. That must have been 2016. But this is just abysmal. I mean, we got the Raw Chamber where Drew McIntyre is defending his title against Sheamus, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and The Miz. Now, their big selling point is they were all past world champions. Jeff Hardy, I love watching Jeff Hardy. I love watching him do flips. He always has a cool move off the chamber. But, it's not realistic for him to win the title. The Miz, he's got the Money in the Bank briefcase, which I'll get into in a different week. I still can't believe Otis should have had it. But the thing is, The Miz has so much going for him when nobody cares. It was the worst time to give him the Money in the Bank briefcase. Him and John Morrison should have honestly been a tag team heel with just the championships. Him in the Rumble, I was like, okay, Money in the Bank, Rumble, that's cool. But now he's in the Elimination Chamber, so I have a weird feeling he's going to get in the Elimination Chamber, automatically lose, and then possibly go out. John Morrison's going to be there. Drew McIntyre wins the whole thing. Him and John Morrison just beat the living hell out of Drew McIntyre, and then he cashed in and wins possibly. But Miz versus Edge at WrestleMania is something nobody wants to see. So, I mean, to be honest, I don't see Sheamus winning it, like I said. Randy Orton winning it makes sense if you want to have Edge versus Randy Orton again, but I don't want to see it. Jeff Hardy versus Edge, or Jeff Hardy wins the title versus Drew in a rematch. Jeff Hardy with the title is interesting. I just don't see them doing it. AJ Styles, that's one that I could totally see happening. AJ Styles versus Edge, AJ Styles versus Drew, or AJ Styles versus somebody else at WrestleMania will always be entertaining. But I don't think it's a move here. And, again, The Miz doesn't make much sense. Drew should win the title, honestly. If the Miz angle happens where he cashed in Money in the Bank on Elimination Chamber, fine. But I have a weird feeling Edge is going to stay with Raw because they need help right now with their ratings stuff, and SmackDown kind of has it more figured out. They're becoming the flagship show. So the Raw Elimination Chamber of Drew, Sheamus, Randy Orton, Hardy, AJ, and The Miz. I'm not a fan of it. But this one I'll say, Riddle versus Lee versus Lashley in a triple threat match for the U.S. title. I like this match. I don't love it. I like it. Riddle or Lee should win, but they won't because Lashley's lately been burying every single superstar on the planet. He's been having this new uncaged type persona where MVP is telling him to go full, I don't know, he's telling him to go 100%. And, just terrorizing Riddle every week. And then Keith Lee, he threw him like a baby last week. So we saw that tonight. Obviously, Monday Night Raw is going to be there. I mean, I'm not a fortune teller, but I have a weird feeling Bobby Lashley's going to freak out again. So I'm okay with this match. I'm not too thrilled about it. I hope if Riddle wins, I mean, I didn't know Riddle's in his 30s. I'm fine with that. Keith Lee deserves the title the most out of the three, in my opinion, because I feel like he could carry that title. Kind of like John Cena did in 2015, where he just called out random competitors. I think Keith Lee could bring prestige on the U.S. title. And, of course, Bobby Lashley winning it. There's not really harm doing that. So, now I want to get into the Smackdown Chamber match. Roman not being in the Smackdown Chamber match just makes me so angry. Unless we have Braun versus Roman at Elimination Chamber, I don't want to see, which I think Braun is Raw, so there's no one I want to see Roman face at Elimination Chamber. This just makes me angry. Like angrier than words can describe to see Roman not have to defend it in the Elimination Chamber, because it's now we know Roman's either going to main event WrestleMania or have the title at WrestleMania, which I don't like. Now he can decide to fight the winner of the Elimination Chamber. They get a number one contender. But also, if Edge wants to get it. So I have a weird feeling there's going to be a triple threat match at WrestleMania between, Kevin Owens, Roman, and Edge, and they're going to try and make it like Daniel Bryan, and it's not going to be the same. But nonetheless, Rey and Dominic would have been amazing in the match because you could have set up 23-year-old Dominic. He didn't even have to win the thing. But him versus Rey, that could have been its own WrestleMania storyline. I'm just not a fan of him not being it. So, as of right now, it is Kevin Owens versus Jey Uso versus King Corbin versus Sami Zayn versus Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan in the Elimination Chamber. I'm just going to go through everybody. Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, that makes sense. So I feel like Edge is going to stick with Raw because there's already so many feuds going on Smackdown that would make sense at WrestleMania. And the fact that Roman is not defending it in the chamber just solidifies my point that Edge is not going to be fighting Roman at WrestleMania because also no one wants to see that. So Kevin Owens versus Roman, I'm fine with that. That feud climaxing with Kevin Owens winning a title is awesome. Jey Uso, that's a totally different... So I have a weird feeling he's going to do very well in this match. But he might not win, but he's going to do well. And it's going to show like he's his own star. Maybe Jey Uso will return and come in somehow, some way. That'd be cool to enter the bloodline. But if he wins and it's Jey versus Roman at WrestleMania and they put the title on Jey Uso, I'm going to be really excited. Jey Uso, I feel like as a singles competitor, could be such a heel or a face, probably a face, and he'd be an underdog against Roman every time, and maybe Jimmy will come back to team up with him. Like, there's so many awesome things that could happen. There's also the son of, I don't know who he is. There's another relative who got a one-night performance, like, in 2020, beginning of 2020, who is a part of the bloodline, like biologically. He could always make a return, of course. But then we got King Corbin. It's not going to happen. Shut up. Sami Zayn. I don't like it. I don't like Sami being in the Elimination Chamber. I don't think he really deserves it. Again, Dominic and Rey would have been better in that spot, and I think Rey Mysterio would have been the oldest competitor ever in it, so that would have been cool. Cesaro, every week he does better and better. They keep saying, he's red hot. Oh, he's on top of the WWE. Why doesn't he have a title? He should be WWE champion, in my opinion. Him winning the championship would be a big deal to me. And they're going to play off like the injury thing because Seth Rollins attacked him, which I'll get into later about the Seth Rollins turn. But I would be fine watching Cesaro win that and then get to fight Roman at WrestleMania because that's a match with Roman I could actually bear watching. Roman's been very good as a heel since I came back to watching wrestling. Roman versus Cesaro would tear the house down. Now, of course, you got Daniel Bryan versus Roman. You need more than 2 months to build this feud. This is a 6-month feud that should have happened and should have been started at like SummerSlam. That's more than 6 months. Is it? No. It's like 8 months. So this should have been like an 8-month feud from like SummerSlam to now, where Daniel Bryan was coming up short. Literally, Daniel Bryan 2014 2.0. Daniel Bryan facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania would have been awesome, but also, I have a weird feeling Roman could drop the title before WrestleMania, but I doubt it'll happen. So, Daniel Bryan going to WrestleMania, that's a cool idea to me. If not, he's probably going to fight Cesaro, or he's going to fight for the Intercontinental Championship in like a ladder match or something. Or, even better, I'm going to talk about this now. I would like if there was a tag team or Intercontinental Championship held in an Elimination Chamber. They did a few years ago with the IC title, and it was just a lot of mid-card talent that didn't always get the spotlight, and it was one of my favorite matches. They did the same with the tag team where they had Lucha, what were they called? They weren't Lucha House Party yet, but it was like Kalisto and Sin Cara at the time, and a bunch of other teams, 2 people in a pod, and it was a really cool match, and I remember it, and I remember my power going out in the middle of it vividly. I don't know why, but, I feel like the Elimination Chamber should have more Elimination Chamber match. It's not like the Royal Rumble where you can't have more than 2 Royal Rumbles. We're already going to have a women's Elimination Chamber because the entire banner and advertising is the women in the pods. So we know we're going to have at least one women's Elimination Chamber, which hasn't really been even talked about yet. But I want an Intercontinental Championship with Big E, Apollo, Dolph even. I'm fine with Dolph getting the IC title as well as that. You could put Dominic in it. You could even put Ray in it. You could put all the mid-card talent you wanted. This is where Sami should have went. This is where Corbin should have went. That would have been the move, but WWE doesn't listen to me.